Today I'm going to go over a couple of the field drills that I use to decide whether or not I'm going to keep something in my bag. So let's get into this. All right, welcome back, or welcome in. I'm gonna go over some field drills today. I actually picked up a couple new discs. I have been told that this specific plastic, the ESP Flex of the Zone, is trash. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but I've been told to pick up a Jawbreaker Zone and that I'll like it more. So now I have this. Personally, I think the stamp on this is awesome, so I hope it's better. And then, as I'm getting better and more consistent with my arm speed, I'm noticing that the understability is kind of a hindrance to me. So right now I have a Buzz SS that is my hyzer flip to flat, hit a gap and feel confident sometimes, which is kind of the problem. But I picked up one of these buzz saws for two reasons. One, I was in the store and I thought this disc looked absolutely awesome. And then two, because I want that little extra stability that I think will make it more consistent than what I'm accustomed to with the Buzz SS. So I'm gonna go over a couple of the things that I do when I'm out here. The main thing I do, I guess it's not really a couple, it's kind of one continuation of a drill or practice throws that I do. But I'm gonna take and throw all four of these discs on anhyzer, hyzer, and flat lines. Typically speaking, I'll throw them 4 or 5 times on those separate lines just to get a good feel on how they fly. I don't think that's going to be the case today just because I have my son out here with me and my daughter's in this field somewhere at our little backyard course playing. So patience level for the children is probably going to be minimal. Plus my parents just got back from vacation and they want to visit. So family first. So we're going to go ahead and get these knocked out. Gonna show you guys a little bit of what I do. And then I'll probably just show you guys one version of it and I'll throw it 2 or 3 times myself off camera just to get a better feel for them. But yeah, I'm gonna start out with my 2 zones. And if you have a field that you can play in, this is absolutely great. I'm gonna bring the camera down and back to maximize the amount of steps that or minimize the amount of steps I have to take. And that's gonna be kind of how that works. So I'm gonna start out with my 2 zones. So I already have a pretty good idea of how this thing flies. But we're gonna put it on a slide anhyzer and it's gonna flex out and probably go 260-ish. Thanks, buddy. Yep, that wasn't quite as much anhyzer as I wanted, but nonetheless, general premise, like I said, I already know how that one flies. So this comparison is more for this one than that one. Honestly, the flight on that looked really good. The wind absolutely just buried that thing once it started to turn over and fight out of it and just pushed it straight into the ground. But nonetheless, the flight was pretty good. So feel the plastic's a bit firmer, which obviously it's a Jawbreaker versus the ESP Flex. So that's essentially what it's supposed to be, which I like more firm putters and less firm drivers is kind of how I think about it and what I prefer in the hand. Mostly because it feels more torque resistant to me the stiffer it is at those lower speeds. Whereas at the higher speeds, I don't quite have the arm speed to make much of a difference on the torque resistance front. So all things considered, it's kind of a wash. So it doesn't matter, I can use whatever I like more. So I gathered these up. I'm gonna go ahead and throw them back. I was actually a little dumb, a little premature, and I meant to throw the 2 buzzes as well. So now I have an extra trip that I have to make in order to throw those. If you're out here, be a little smarter than I just was and throw all your test discs all at once. That way you can see the flights and then go get them and throw them all back and save yourself a lot of steps and a lot of time. But anyway, I'm gonna throw these back flat now. I know I said hyzer a minute ago, but like I said, I was a little dumb. So I'm gonna throw them flat and then I'm gonna throw them hyzer. And we're gonna kind of just watch and see what they do. I kind of just expect them to hold flat a little bit and then get a nice hook back. When we get back. I'll be honest, that was a lot softer fade than I'm accustomed to with that disc. It could be the fact that now that I'm throwing back, I'm throwing into a headwind, which would really check out. But it really didn't fade as much as I thought it was going to. So, all right, here's that jawbreaker zone. We'll see what it's wanting to do.
No, Lovey. No. Hey.
Very similar flight. Honestly, as far as the plastics go, I don't think I'm noticing much of a difference between how they fly. They seem very similar, and because of that, I don't know if I need to throw them on a hyzer line. At this point, I think it's just hand feel and probably a little bit of ground play and how they play off of the ground. But I do think I like that jawbreaker zone a little bit better, like I said, because I like that harder plastic feel on my putters. So I think that's going to be a benefit. So I will more than likely swap out that ESP Flex for the jawbreaker and then rock that. Okay, so those two specifically, like I said, I already talked about them, so you know what I'm gonna do. Not really a good representation of what this can do for you as far as watching what the differences between the discs are, because the flights were pretty much identical. So we're gonna do that same thought process with this Buzz and Buzz SS and see the differences in those. So I'm gonna start by throwing them both on a bit of anhyzer, hyzer, and then, or anhyzer flat and then hyzer, and just kind of work my way down. So here we go.
Got you. No. Shake your head. Whoa. No.
Yep, slow turn, never fights back out of it. Good flight though, decent distance. It's probably 240, 260-ish. Actually, now that I say that out loud, that's not that decent. Usually I like to get about 280 out of my mids, but anyway. So I'm gonna take this one, throw it on that same anhyzer line. I expect this to be a bit more stable, so hopefully it'll show that and kind of fight back a little bit, but we'll see. Not even close. I didn't fight back at all. So far on that anhyzer line, I don't notice much of a difference. But I'm more expecting to notice it on the hyzer line than the anhyzer. I guess now that I've seen the anhyzer, because before I would have expected it to be different. But I don't know, maybe these will both be exactly the same. We'll see.
Hi, Poops.
Okay, I'm definitely not keeping that in. Go away. So they were pretty close to each other. The flights weren't quite the same. This one, the wind is now more of like, it's flying, it's going this way. So from back there, it was kind of a left to right. So I think once that flight plate got exposed, it never had a chance, because you could see it just kind of start pushing more like vertically. So, all right, I'm gonna throw them both flat now. So we kind of have a headwind right to left right now. I'm gonna hope I don't take my kids out, specifically the one in yellow walking right down the firing range here.
No.
Hey, you want to bring that back? So that was not a good throw. That was anhyzer. The whole purpose of this is try to throw flat. Also, an ulterior outcome from this is it does help you with a little bit of your angle control. Holy crap. Okay, again, that was pretty close to flat. What are you doing, dude?
That's mine.
It's mine, punk. You go say hi. Hi. Come on, let's go wipe your face.
No.
So it was thrown pretty close to flat with a little bit of anhyzer, and it just turned. Like, if I'm being honest, I almost want to grab that Bel Air that I've got and throw it in my bag if it's gonna, because it kind of flew kind of with the flight that I'm wanting to get. But we'll see. We're gonna throw them both on some hyzer right now and figure out what they want to do. Maybe the buzz saw will flip up a bit more consistently Then again, maybe it just acts as a neutral disc and just holds whatever angle you throw it on, and it goes more like a Mako does. But I don't know, we're gonna round it up, get set back up, and throw them back out there one more time and see what we think.
Sorry for calling you guys poop. I guess I'll call you watchers.
All right, let's throw these back out on the hyzer line, see what they do. Both my kids are currently all up in my business right now. Go that way.
But I want to be at the star of the camera, not you.
All right, so now I'm gonna throw both of these on a bit of a hyzer, see what we can get from them. I'll be honest, so far I'm not getting the flight out of either one of these that I was kind of wanting. I might bring that Bel Air and my MD1 out and compare those and see how I feel about them. Maybe even the Mako 3 again, I don't know. I didn't like it when I first started, but that's because I had 0 angle control and it made me feel bad about my life. So maybe now that I'm a little better, it might be a bit more friendly. Flip up to flat and soft fade. Now let's see how this girl compares. I'm gonna be honest, surprisingly, I don't see a crazy difference between those two discs. And if that's the case, I'll probably just bag the basic Buzz for now, just because I think it looks better. And that pink can be a little hard to see at times, whereas I think that orange won't be. But I don't know. Just based off of that little test, now mind you, I've got some more throws I have to do with them. Because typically speaking, you'll do this 3 to 5 times just to get a full comparison, because you get fluke flights from time to time with the wind gusts and things like that. But based off of that round, I'm not seeing much of a difference. And honestly, at this point, it just becomes preference with aesthetics and hand feel. So anyway, I'll leave you guys with that for now. So if there are any other field drills or things that you guys know of that I can use to help improve myself, please, by all means, leave them in the comments. Let me know. I'd be very grateful for that, as most of this channel is trying to just track my growth and spend some time with the kids in the process. Gets us out and about and keeps us active. So win-wins for everybody. That being said, this has been Disc Daddy from Diapers to Drivers. Until next time.